All right, welcome to another episode of Screen the Screener. I'm Steve Mensch. That's Tyler Besman with the Patriots hat on. Hey, by the way, if you're going to wear a hometown hat, at least make it interesting like Matt's got on, or better. That's the worst Patriots hat I've ever seen, dude. And
It's a
that's
great
Matt's
Patriots
also.
hat.
Matt's in his Colts gear today. That's how we're kicking it off. We're getting right into it. Well, this might be our weekly thing, Ty. Just a wellness check on Matt.
I think it's gonna be.
The Colts. Why? Because the Indianapolis Colts, which is a real pro football team, that's a real team, has named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback over former first-round pick Anthony Richardson. Matt, take it away.
It's the right choice. They should never have played Anthony Richardson in the first season and just let him ride the bench behind Gardner Minshew and the rest of them. They should have developed him like they did with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and other quarterbacks that didn't start immediately upon getting drafted.
Pat Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is another good example.
I agree with that, okay? But here's the world we live in. Let me ask you. I have a two-part question. Is it only the right decision because they didn't make better moves in the offseason? Like, should Daniel Jones be the other option here? If they knew
what other options were there in the offseason?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, they could make a trade for Kirk Cousins, like something along those lines, I'm thinking.
I think they were hopeful about Richardson, though. Like, if you're going to trade for Kirk, then I think they were hopeful. Like, they were trying to make him their guy. So I feel like if you bring in a Kirk or a Russ, you're kind of delaying that a little bit further. And he's in his third year now. It's kind of tough to delay a guy like that where he's about to be on an expiring contract.
Well, I think it comes down to the fact that Chris Ballard likes his job and wanted to keep it. And so when he drafted Anthony Richardson, I think he felt pressure from ownership and others to get him on the field to try and get a winning product out there rather than slowly developing and developing the dynasty that it should be.
Yeah, let's put this aside. I wasn't clear about this. I 100% agree with you guys that especially when Anthony Richardson started like 10 games, 8 games, whatever it was in
13.
college.
13 games.
Not enough games, okay?
Yes, agreed.
So not enough games. So if you are going to draft a kid like that, then you have to give him time to develop on the bench. 100% agree. We're agreement there. That's done and dusted, though. That happened. It's already over. So now that's what I mean by like the world we live in now. Because that happened and they didn't do that. So now is this sort of like what you were thinking happened with Carolina and Bryce Young, and we'll see how that plays out. If you bench him for a little bit and then you try and play him again, or is it the end for Anthony Richardson? And let me ask you that. So we'll start there, and then I have a follow-up.
I think the rift between Anthony Richardson and the Colts is real now. I don't think it was real last year, but I think it's real now. With his agent coming in and being like, I don't know if we're going to ask for a trade and whatnot. Stay out of it, agent. Like, get out of the news. I digress. So I think that's an issue. It'll be interesting to see if Daniel Jones stays healthy. Steichen said that he's the quarterback for the year. And so I was like, that was pretty interesting to say, but I think he said that just to make sure that people don't follow. Well, what if Daniel Jones does this? Is Anthony going to get the start? I think it just ends all of those questions, and they could just say within the locker room that they are moving forward with Daniel Jones and this is what we're doing. And I'd be interested to know in the locker room what the team feels like. Do they want Anthony Richardson or do they want Daniel Jones? I didn't watch the preseason. I didn't watch the training camp, so I don't know how bad Anthony Richardson was on his short and intermediate throws, but he's still a 53% passer, and Daniel Jones, while not a lights-out quarterback, is better than 53% passing completion.
Yeah, that's true. My understanding is that was going to be my follow-up. How much of it did you pay attention to? Like, how much of it were you locked into for the battle? Because my understanding was it was actually pretty close. Now, whether that's a race to the bottom or they were both playing sort of well, I don't know.
Well, I was reading an article and Steichen was talking about it's about consistency, right? It's about not just your throws, but are you making the correct calls at the line? Are you calling out the coverages correctly? Are you doing all the other things that quarterbacks need to do? And, this is Anthony Richardson's third year. And if he still can't figure out the playbook, that's on him. That's not on the Colts. And so it tells me that Shane Steichen thought that Daniel Jones maybe was better in the quarterback room and understanding the playbook and being able to execute the strategy and plays that are being called and making the coverage changes and play call changes at the line that they need to.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever. It's sucked for Archie Manning. That's what it's going to be.
That's what I was going to say. I think you guys should just tank for Arch Manning. Get that last name on that jersey.
That all sounds well and good, but I don't know enough about college quarterbacks to know if Arch Manning is actually the fourth coming of the Manning family.
I mean, they be excited for it though, because you understand, like, the amount of jerseys that they would sell having an Arch Manning in Indy. Like, they would sell so many jerseys. That organization.
I would hope that they don't draft based on jersey sales. If they're drafting on jersey sales, I have a much bigger problem being a Colts fan.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that's what a completely different thing, but that's going on with like Shador in Cleveland, is like the amount of jersey sales that he's getting, but he also has like a huge chunk that he gets from the jersey sales. So I don't know. I mean, I think that would be huge for Indy, is having the jersey sales for Arch Manning, which they might do, so they can get a boatload of money and make more pretzels. So it'll be solid.
I'm not even sure what to make of what you're saying. You think it would be a big deal for Indy to get a guy who can sell jerseys? You don't think? Look at Matt right now. Look at this man. Okay, this is a grown man. This man has two very successful, intelligent daughters, a very intelligent, successful wife. He's by all accounts a healthy human being, and his team sucks, and he's wearing that gear. I mean, he's still buying stuff, man.
Hey,
I know.
You pick your team, you ride or die.
Right, which, by the way, I love. Like, I'm all about it. All about it. That's why I get mad about the Brady Patriots thing, because I love Tom Brady, but I can't be a Bucks fan just because Tom Brady went to another team, man. I'm a Patriots fan. Like, just, you like Tom Brady, but like, that's just not a thing, dude. You just don't.
And then the even worse of that is wearing the split jersey. Like, that's a whole different category.
We can't let that go.
Like, that's even worse.
Mothers are the only ones that can do that.
Yes, only mothers. Only mothers.
We've established this. You can't put your own name on a jersey, and you can't do a split jersey unless if you're over the age of, we'll say, 12. If you're a teenager, it's over. And really, as a parent, you should never allow your kid to do it. You should never allow them to do it. I am getting off track here. I don't even know what else I was going to say about Daniel Jones. Although this is one thing. This is sort of setting up to be the nightmare situation.
It's sort of
that he plays. What's his contract for? Do we know?
1 year.
Okay, so it's 1 year.
That's why I'm not upset.
$14 million.
Yeah, I'm not upset about that.
This is going to be Sam Darnold in Minnesota. This is what I really think. So even if he plays well enough for them to be like in playoff contention, and he would have to do better than Sam Darnold did in Minnesota last year, which was pretty damn good, by the way, until the end. I mean, the last couple games he struggled. But Sam Darnold did pretty well in Minnesota, and they were like, no, thanks, we're going with JJ. And that's probably what the Colts are looking at, I'm assuming, because I will say this, early indications, we'll see if Arch comes out or not. His grandfather says he's not coming out. The Hall of Famer Archie Manning said he's not coming out. I don't think his uncles have said anything. I don't think his dad has said anything. By the way, his dad, Cooper Manning, is one of my favorite people in all of sports. He is the just amazing human being, maybe the best athlete of the group, and I think he got hurt. But anyways, his dad hasn't said anything, his uncles haven't said anything, but Arch did come out. The kid did come out and say, I don't know where my grandfather got that from. He texted me and apologized, which is a little bit of a pushback. So maybe he does come back. All of that aside, we're going to see who comes out, who stays in school. Next year's quarterback class looks a lot better than what this year's quarterback class looked like. So if you're a Colts fan or any other fan right now, that's the early indications. A lot of football to play, man. We'll see. A lot of football to play. Where the Colts draft, all of that stuff, we'll see. But the early suggestions are this is going to be a better quarterback class. But, man.
Well, you had asked earlier, like, what could they have done better? And frankly, I think picking up Daniel Jones for 1 year for $14 million is a hell of a great insurance policy, rather than being in the no leverage situation of trying to trade for Kirk Cousins and taking on 3/4 of that contract. That contract is
insane.
I'm so glad that the Colts didn't do that.
No way. I'm assuming that there's got to be some way that contract isn't passed on with all that stuff. There's no way someone's paying him that amount of money.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But so I think the Colts did the best they could in the offseason that they could, and there are a hell of a lot of targets and talented wide receivers in Indy. You know, Josh Downs is legit. Pittman's a possession guy; he can get you first downs. Tyler Warren's an unknown. Jonathan Taylor's could be all pro.
Stud.
So there's a lot of weapons there. I'm talking myself into, a mediocre season with a mid-range first round draft pick that we trade up for.
Do you want that though? Like, do you want to be like the Steelers and have the mid-range first round pick year after year after year and then be mid? Or do you want 1 year, kind of like what we dealt with, where it was won't say we because you support the Patriots here and there, but like with the Patriots where we were like, all right, we'll just suck. We'll get our quarterback in the top 5, and then we end up with another top 5 pick, and we got Will Campbell. Would you rather that or be mid and keep getting like Tyler Warren's or hope that there's a deeper quarterback class?
Pay the price for a year, Matt. Pay the price.
Nice.
The problem is our division is so terrible that we might actually squeeze in.
That's very fair.
And the Patriots can relate, man. By the way, the Patriots I think we had Matt Castle and we're competitive for a year. It was like, man, the AFC East does suck. The AFC East was bad for a long time. I get it. I think I'll be honest. I'm with you, Ty. Though you don't tank.
Yeah,
tanking is a bad idea.
A top 10 pick, though. You guarantee a top 10 pick.
But you want to you don't you can't make decisions like that. But you're also not you coach for the long term, not for the short term. But you don't tank, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's bad karma to tank.
Yeah, man. Don't tank. Don't.
I mean,
tank.
look at the Dolphins. I mean, they tanked for Tua, and I won't
say
they got him.
Yeah,
they got him.
And they got him.
And then what happened? What's been going on in Miami?
Danny Dimes won a playoff game 3 years ago. I want to make that clear.
And he had over 80% completion rate for a season, so it's in there.
A little bit.
It's in there.
Mobile.
He doesn't trip over his own feet. He's a good runner.
He doesn't quit. He doesn't call himself out of the play and go sit on the sidelines. So, I mean.
And we're not saying any of this because we're worried about our friend and his mental health. We're not saying any of that for those reasons.
You know what I wish for? I wish for a defense I could get excited about. I've never had a defense in the Colts, except for maybe the Super Bowl year.
I thought they were close a couple years ago to building something. And then it feels like it fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, you had Shaq Leonard, who was lights out, came out of nowhere. Kenny Moore's legit. But, I mean, they are just decimated. They're not even into this full season yet, and they're decimated on their defensive core. It's just
I felt like
sad.
it felt like offensive line and defense, they were right there on the cusp of having something special on both sides. And then it just fell apart. It just didn't come together. And it's just
the Colts drafting defensive rushers is like the Patriots drafting wide receivers. It's just miss after miss after miss.
It's hard, man. It's a hard position to find guys at. It just really is. And you're kind of, as a kid growing up, you're a little spoiled by having one of the best in Dwight
Freeney.
I mean,
God, he was awesome. Robert Mathis was no joke either.
Robert Mathis was no joke. He was definitely the Robin to the Batman. I think Freeney was the guy. And that sounds maybe disrespectful to Robert Mathis because he was a dude. Robert Mathis was a dude. But Dwight Freeney was different. He was, I feel like, Von Miller before Von Miller. And Von Miller is awesome. These are all guys you could talk about as
if you watch Dwight Freeney, the way that he could angle down and around defensemen or offensive linemen, I mean, he's at like a 30-degree angle to the turf and getting around guys, and he's so low they can't get him. It's amazing.
It's something they look for. They call it ankle flexibility. It's most commonly referred to as bend. It is the number one trait people look for in these edge rushers. But Freeney was smart too, man. Freeney was he was one of the, and you have to be. Von Miller's like this. Von Miller's another guy. Again, I'm comparing him to Von Miller, but knowing weaknesses, knowing how to set up moves, like the Freeney, the fake spin move that he had. Do you remember that? Where he had the spin move and then he would fake it and people, dude, he knew how to sit. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say people would go to block him and he wouldn't be there.
Right. You just buckle and you're like, dude, what are we doing here? I mean, again, it's bend is great and explosiveness is great, but the elites, the guys like Freeney are the ones who are smart about it, learn how to use their hands, work on their weaknesses, all that stuff. So yeah, Colts. Let's just get, we're not quite there. We're going to do a little bit of college football here in a second. But do you want to give us your projection for the Colts this year? Did you bet the futures for the Colts yet?
I did. I don't have them in front of me. We'll save it for the when we do our full NFL preview.
Full betting. Okay.
Yeah.
Full NFL preview. Got it. All right.
I know I bet the over, whatever it was, way when I bet back in February. wish I maybe had waited on that one, but
well, yeah. Was he over 3.5? I mean, we don't know.
It was more than the Patriots.
Dude, are you crushing high noons right now?
No, man, no. I'm crushing a Celsius. I got a game after this, so I got to get fully caffeinated.
Speaking of games, we're bearing the headline here. Matt had his championship game. Fly pigeons fly. By the way, people are like, dude, he has a championship game every 2 months. Correct. The league does turn over pretty rapidly. He plays a lot of championship games.
4 championships a year.
But the pigeons in the level 2, the second level. Right,
yep, D2.
Had a championship game. I already know. I'm not going to pretend I don't know. But why do you fill in the people, our loyal listeners, listeners who want to know, Matt?
All right, so we have a bit of a rivalry going with the Slashers. They have some players they're very Panther-esque in terms of being able to get under your skin without getting caught by the refs, and they love to complain a lot as soon as you do anything back to them. So we were playing the Slashers. It's a great game. Biggest crowd we've ever had. I think we were in the dozens, which was pretty great. My wife and kids showed up by the second period.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was nice that they showed up. But we were up 2-0 at the end of the first. I did score, which was a nice little bonus for me. And then it was 3-1, and probably our top skater got a 10-minute misconduct for unsportsmanlike because he retaliated, and the ref never sees the initial. He always
details
sees
though. What was the retaliation? Did he like slash?
It was in the corner, and we're a non-hit league, which doesn't mean that you can like get in the way of people, but you can't hit them. And he felt that he was hit in the corner.
You don't listen to those rules.
Hey, that guy skated in the
layout, dudes.
You flattened that dude.
Yeah. No, it's not. Well, I guess it was my fault. But he felt that he got a little roughed up in the corner and retaliated with, I think, probably a cross check and then a couple slashes, and it went back and forth. But he was in the box for 10 minutes, plus you have to wait for the penalty or the whistle. So that was almost a full. Or we have 17-minute periods, so that's well over half a period. And we ended up being
there's not live, like you don't come out of the box, right?
Not on a misconduct. You have to wait till the next whistle after your 10 minutes is up. And we don't get whistles very often. Like, it depends how tired people are. So by the time he got out of the box, we were tied 3-3 going into the third, and we just couldn't get it done in the third period, which was unfortunate. So we lost 5-3. I didn't get to add to my ring collection, which is disappointing, but I'll have another opportunity here about Christmas time. So
yeah, there's always next couple months.
Fly, pigeons fly.
We got to learn how to skate tie. Like we have to first of all, we have to call a game. We want to do that. Second of all, like there's enough of these games. Like there's enough of these seasons that like if we put in a year's solid time, we're on the ice in a year. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I've seen some of the guys that we skate with. We might be able to do it.
I think we can do it.
There's some guys that have not played hockey a long time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so maybe
we could totally do it. We would just give the puck to Matt the whole entire time. Like that's how we would be. Like I wouldn't even look at the net. I would just be trying to find Matt every time.
That's funny because I'd be looking for you. I'd be like, go park in front of the net, Ty. I'm just going to feed you all night.
Sort of like Chell, how we feed Ty, right?
Yeah, but he finishes then.
Yeah. All right, college football starts this weekend. I hate this. Like
I love it.
I know I'm excited for college football. Don't get me wrong, but I hate the head fake. I hate that there's 5 games this weekend, and there's one really good game. You got Iowa State, Kansas State, both ranked teams. But the thing I don't love about it, I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth a little bit, okay? So Iowa State, Kansas State, Big 12 game. I think both of those teams, I have a favorite. I think Arizona State's probably the favorite to come out of the Big 12 and get into the playoff. Iowa State and Kansas State are definitely in the conversation. I think don't sleep on Utah. I think Utah's bouncing back with a big
Utah
year.
Utes?
Yes, the betting fans out there, Utah is interesting. They got a quarterback from New Mexico, and they brought over the offensive coordinator from New Mexico, so he's going to hit the ground running. And that defense is really good, and their offensive line might be the best offensive line in the country. Keep an eye on the Utes. Anyways, I would say Kansas State are going to be in the mix, right? And here's what I don't like about this game. You have a big conference game that potentially has playoff implications, and you're playing in Ireland.
Right. I forgot about that.
I like playing in Ireland. I like having a game in Ireland. I like having a non-conference game in Ireland. I don't mind it being a big team. I think Notre Dame has played in this game. This game's actually gone on. I looked at it. It's gone on longer than I expected.
Georgia State, Florida State last year.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, yes.
Again, another conference game. Derailed Florida State's year. Now, obviously, Florida State had a lot of fatal flaws. It was a great game. Georgia Tech won by a field goal. But
my first parlay of the year. I felt good going into the year. That was my first parlay.
Yeah. By the way, I want to hear your first parlay this year. That's coming up in a second.
I gotcha.
But they've had like Boston College there, which is, I think, is smart. Holy Cross. Notre Dame has been in this game 3 times. So since 1988, they've had it 12 times, I think. A couple of them got canceled because of COVID, which makes sense. But like again, having a Notre Dame there, the Northwestern, I think, that's a Catholic. I mean, an Irish Catholic community, I think. But anyways, like I get those. Now you're putting Iowa, Kansas State there. I don't get the tie. It's an important game, even though it might not seem as important as Notre Dame. I mean, as Florida State last year, it's still an important game. I wish you would do a different, like, get some action going. Get like a Toledo Bowling Green, or get like a bigger. You want to do like a Notre Dame Clemson? That's fine. You have to, but it's got to be a game that's non-conference, so it doesn't. So the weight isn't as big, because when you go to, like, there's just things of going to Ireland. Remember always when you're talking about these kids, when the pros go out and they play, when you go in the NFL and you have 2 West Coast games, a lot of times teams will stay out there. If they have a playoff game, they'll stay out there, so they get acclimated to all of it. You know what I mean? That's smart. When you have young kids who have never been to another country, who are checking out Ireland, there's a lot of logistics to it. The diet, the food that's in Ireland. Some of these guys are really picky and they're not going to love what they're eating. Like, there's just a lot that goes into it. And to me, to have that much on the line in a game like that, I don't really love it. And I just want to have this game, but like, let's just start everyone on the same weekend, because I'm looking at the schedule, and this is how I was getting. And I'm like, dude, week 1, we're getting,
it's ugly.
What do you mean it's ugly? No. Week 1 is what I was thinking is next week.
Oh, got you. Yeah, week 1 is great. Week 0, man.
You're getting Texas, Ohio State. You're getting Alabama, Florida State. You're getting, I forget what the night game is. I should remember it. It's Clemson, LSU, Clemson. Like, you're getting these monster games in that first week. And now I'm like, oh no, this is the precursor. I forgot this is the thing. They used to call it week 0. Now they're just calling it week 1 and combining it with what the real week 1 is. And it's like, okay. Okay. And again, people should watch the Iowa State Kansas State game. It's going to be a good game. Both those teams are talented. They got pretty good quarterbacks. Both of them lost some talent in the draft, but they're both really going to be competitive. They're both ranked in the top 25 in the rankings going in. It's going to be a good game. I want to watch that game. But the other ones are Idaho State, UNLV, Fresno State, Kansas, Sam Houston, Western Kentucky, and Stanford, Hawaii. Awesome, just to have football back. If you don't think I'm placing some kind of bet this weekend, you're out of your mind.
The whole weekend watching.
So don't get me wrong, but like, I don't want to dip my toes. I just want to dive in. I just want to get going. You know what I mean? Is that crazy? Is that like just an old man take? Like, get over it. Like, take what you can get.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't really make any sense to me why we need to wait another week, or even why I think next week on Thursday is a bunch of games, and I think Friday there's a bunch of games. I think they're spread out throughout the week, where you could have just done a giant Saturday to open up the season. You still could have those giant games next Saturday, but instead you have a bunch of I was looking because I love Marshall. Marshall plays on a random day next week. Have them play Saturday. Take all of these smaller games and just let them play Saturday, so that we all can sit there on the couch and watch a million football games and dive right back into it. But But I also, on the flip side, I'm just happy to have football back.
Yeah, I am happy to have football.
That's the other piece. I'm sick of preseason. I'm kind of done with it at this point. I need some real football.
Matt, are you a big college football guy?
It comes and goes for me. After living in South Carolina for 3 years, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Because I'll be frank, a lot of the locals are giant douchebags, and I just was like, I hate this on principle. I did go to a South Carolina game at Bryce Stadium, and that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool experience, and it's something everybody should do, is to go to a big football school and go to one of those games and do the pregame and the tailgating and everything like that. That was really cool. I grew up in Indiana, so I'm a Big Ten fan. IU sucks at football, despite last year being the outlier.
They're going to be pretty
year.
good again. They're going to be
I
competitive
hope so.
again this year.
So I have to follow. I do follow. I pay attention, but I don't spend my Saturday watching. I don't bet on it much because I don't know very much about it. So I try not to do that. But that's going to change this year. I'm going to try to lose my money as I can.
I'll just say this. Tyler's approach to college football betting has changed my mind about everything, and I don't feel like you brought it up until the end of the year last year. And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if this is not your approach. You basically take heavy favorites, you basically take the money line, and then you bundle them in these parlays.
Kind of. So what I do is I look at
because that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to look at like the five biggest spreads. Yep.
So I'll look at the spread, and I'll take the money line of the team that's -4.5. If they're -4.5, I'm taking it. If they're -6.5, I'm taking
4.5. That's nothing.
Those two numbers I like. I don't know why, but the -4.5 and the -6.5, I take the money line, and I only do 3 or 4.
Do you take the favorite or you take the underdog?
Favorite. So I take the favorite. When it's -4.5 or -6.5, it could be -5.5, whatever you want. Those two numbers, though, I just like, and then I stack it.
You are now officially a degenerate.
I get excited, but I don't put a big money on it. That's the difference. Where I probably should say that I don't put big money. I put max $5 on a parlay. But what I do is I just do 3 or 4 legs, and that's it. I don't do anything more than 4 legs on a parlay. If I am feeling like let's get after it, I will do like a $1 parlay with like 8 legs and just do a bunch of money lines. Maybe I'll take like if it's Georgia versus Sam Houston and Georgia's -28.5, I might take that -28.5 just to sweat it out. Like I'll take some goofy ones like that, but when I'm trying to be more strategic, I do look at the spread and try to be a little bit smarter.
When I see the big numbers for the favorites, it scares me. Like it's such a big
Bama
number.
last year with Vandy. We saw with Bama last year. If you took the money line for Vandy last year, you would have made some good money. Because I think Bama was like -21.5, and Vandy ended up winning that game.
Yeah, of course. But no one thought Vandy, dude. No
of course,
kidding.
No, but what you're saying is when you see that big spread, it's scary. Like you look at that and you're like, I should definitely take like the +21.5 rather than the -21.5. Obviously, we wouldn't take that Bama money line.
No, I don't like that either, though. I just don't like the big. I thought what you were doing
completely.
I basically want to do what caused the financial crash in 2008. I want to take a lot of like subprime mortgages, which is just these bets on these big spreads, but just take the money line, right, and bundle them enough to where you make a little bit of money. You're obviously not going to make as much money as you could if you were like doing a crazy parlay, right? But if you took the 6 biggest favorites of the week and you bundled them into a parlay every week, and you put this is what I might try and do this year, is you put, let's say, $10 on it, right? And then after that, until you get to the point where you take the 25% of your winnings, right? So once it gets bigger than $10, it's 25% of whatever you've won for the year. But you just keep rolling over 25% into the 5 or 6 biggest money lines of the year. And I would be interested to see what you ended up with at the end of the year. I think that's a system that could work.
I mean, there's a lot of people on Twitter and TikTok that do like a ladder
challenge. What could go wrong, Matt?
What could go wrong? Do that. Nothing will go wrong.
That's similar to my blackjack strategy. So like blackjack, let's say that the bet is minimum bet's $15. So you put down $15. If I win, I take $5 of my winnings and put it on the next bet. So that's 20. Then if you win, you go back to 20, you go to 25 and so on and so forth. So if you get on the streak, you can get like a pretty good bet, but you're still taking in some profit, right? And then if you lose, then you start back out at 15 and you start going back up again. And that has worked for me in blackjack when I've played sober and smart.
Because we are in this
sober and smart,
which is rare and even more rare.
How often is that? Like,
it's rare and more rare.
Oh God, we're gonna have a very healthy gambling competition this year.
I like that strategy. I just don't know what the odds are on if you bundle that many money lines together. How much
it'll be that
benefit you.
I don't either. In fairness, I probably should have checked that. I don't know what that'll be like. My guess is it's not a lot, but if you consistently do it, and then you do have to be careful. I would also be like, there's going to be those teams you stay away from. Like Alabama last year to me was, especially because I don't remember what the spread in the Oklahoma game was, and the same thing happened to them in the Oklahoma game. There are certain teams you're just like, this smells. This doesn't look right to me. I don't feel good about this one.
That was me with LSU and Clemson last year. I kind of stayed away from those two teams.
Yeah,
I didn't want to deal with anything.
And by the way, on that note, I'll say this. This is going to be a very interesting year for bettors, I think. It's going to be a very interesting year for the playoffs. It's going to be a very interesting year for rankings. It's going to be a very interesting year for the Heisman because I've never seen this much volatility in college football. I mean, Ohio State is ranked. Ohio State maybe has the two best players in the country, by the way. Caleb Downs at safety, Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver. They're ranked number 3 in the AP Top 25. They got
who's 1 and 2? Is it Notre Dame and
Texas is 1?
Okay,
I'll give you the top 5, and then like this is some of this.
Yeah,
is
give
crazy.
me the top 5. Give me the top 5.
Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. I'm just gonna say like some big picture things here. Okay, Ohio State got gutted in the draft, and yes, they do most years, but they usually have an experienced quarterback coming back. They don't have the experienced quarterback either. So to me, I know they're going to be talented. Don't get me wrong. And Ryan Day is a hell of a coach, but they have I believe they have a new defense coordinator. But there's a lot of change in Columbus, and that's not the only place. Texas, the same, very similar situations. The difference of Texas is Arch Griffin he started 2 games last year, got some snaps. He's got a little more experience. We'll see. No, they're going to be talented. Clemson has got an experienced guy, and Penn State have an experienced guy quarterback. That makes sense to me. Georgia, again, same situation as some of these other like blue blood big time programs. Georgia's coming back with Gunnar Stockton, who started 1 game after Carson Beck got hurt in the SEC championship game, and honestly he's a talented kid. It wasn't all that impressive. Notre Dame, new starter. They're at 6. Oregon at 7, new starter at quarterback. 8, Alabama, new starter at quarterback. 9, LSU, they got Garrett Nussmeier coming back. He's a dude. Can their defense play? I don't know. They couldn't play last year. We're going to see. Miami, also LSU, a whole new offensive line. These are teams in the top 10 that you normally want to come in and be like, feel pretty good about this. There are a lot of questions here. Miami's got Carson Beck coming off of, I believe it's Tommy John surgery. I don't know if they called it that, but he's coming off elbow surgery on his throwing arm. And supposedly he's looked awesome. Awesome. But Miami's got, they've got a good offensive line. They've got an experienced quarterback because they have Beck, but still a lot of questions there about how that's all going to look. Michigan, new starting quarterback at 14. I mean, there are so many questions here. And then you add in what the transfer portal is doing to college football, and you might not like it and you might love it. There's a part of me that loves it.
I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to come around on it.
But all of these, I don't like, so we should be clear about it. I love the aspect of these teams being able to bring in kids. Like I'm trying to think of who just signed Derek Simmons, the Western Carolina offensive tackle, came in to Oklahoma. So here's a Western Carolina kid who's going to get to play offensive tackle for Oklahoma and really raise his profile. And there's guys like that all over the country. John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State, is going to play at Oklahoma too. He is dude, wait till you guys see this kid play. He is so much fun to watch play. I mean, he is a gunslinger, man.
Yeah.
But he also has he makes these like what I call hole balls. These are like throws against zone coverages. They're between the corner and the safety, usually against outside against cover two looks. He throws these things. Generally, that's a 10 to 15 yard throw, I would say. I don't know that specifically, but that's what it feels like. He throws like 20, 25 yard throws like that. And I mean, just zip. But he is unconscious in terms of the, like, he knows how talented his arm is. And he's like, oh, I'm going to try to make this work.
That's why I
go
love
ahead
football.
and he can run.
They're fearless.
Yeah. And he can run. He is so much fun to watch. So he's another guy. Like, I love these kids getting different opportunities, right? The flip side of the portal, which we won't talk about too much because we're not a depressing podcast, is all these kids who get in there and they're like, oh, no one wants me. And I thought I was going to go from here to here. Now I'm not going anywhere. And the other flip side of the portal is a lot of these teams are like, hey, bud, I know we recruited you 2 years ago, but how about you hit the portal? Because we're not really that interested anymore. So there is a dark side to it, but I will say, all of that aside, the way it affects the playoff picture and way college football on a larger level, for me, and looking at these coaches, is how do you get these guys to gel so fast? I mean, Texas Tech has something called the El Matador program. McShay talked about this on the McShay show the other day, and it is just a big NIL fund, whatever these things are called, and they got 16 players that come in. They spent all kinds of money, and it's a new team. I mean, I'm looking at some of these secondaries completely rebuilt. Some defensive lines pretty much just rebuilt. Different group of guys. And again, it's the same thing when you're talking about with the rosters. You're like, damn, there's a lot of talent here. But at what point is it like some of this has got to come together, right? Like, and there are certain positions where I think it's more important than other. I think it starts with quarterback and how he gels with the rest of his team right there, right? Offensive line, super important. I think the secondary is really underrated. And you see this with a lot of teams, I think, have gotten burned by their secondary play in recent years because these kids, they are like, oh, no, you got them. No, I got them. And the next thing you know, guys are just, busted coverages all over the place. And so it's interesting to see like how they all can come together. And I'm fascinated to see if coaches start going with more like simpler schemes, not because kids can't handle it mentally. There's a lot of smart college football players, but because it's the communication and it's being on the same page. And if you don't have as many checks or you don't have as many, whatever, you got changes you got to make, then there's less likely going to be a mistake and you just let their natural ability come out. So anyways, there's a ton of volatility. I'm excited for the lights to come on and just see what do we really got here? Because like you have all these rankings, but I don't know, we'll see.
It's a beauty of college football.
Well, I think it's interesting because I think that previously, before the portal and before the playoffs, it felt to me that successful coaches were the greatest recruiters, right? Mm-hmm. And success begot success. And now that's not the case. And the best coaches are actually going to be the ones that can do the X's and the O's. And that's what's going to make the difference now, rather than just being able to recruit the best classes.
I think recruiting's still super important. I don't disagree with you on the X's and O's. I also will say this. Nick Saban leaving Alabama left a big void in the college football world. Like Alabama was this, it's like Urban Meyer leaving Florida. Like there's programs that that were once considered, oh, well, let's write these guys in as top fives. Like right now, I think Ohio State is a program. I think Texas is a program. Georgia's a program that all of these, like when you start, Oregon, I think is getting in there. No matter what, you're putting them in that top 5, top 10 conversation. I think Oregon's too low at 7, by the way. I'm like, why is Oregon so low at 7? I don't really get it. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, and also something that relates to the college football playoff. But by the way, Tyler, just to be really quick, you're right. That is the beauty of college football, right?
Yeah, no,
that is what makes it different. It's one of the things that makes it different than the NFL. Is the NFL obviously has free agency, but the turnover in college football is insane. And it's always been higher than the pros. Like it's always been a higher turnover rate.
Right.
It's insane.
It's like a 4-month March Madness. Like it's amazing. You don't know. Like we'll go into these rankings and half of those teams won't be in the top 10 by the end of the season. Like it is, you really don't know what's going to happen throughout the year, and that's why I've started to enjoy it. I'm happy I got into it like probably a couple years ago. But it's just so much fun to watch. And I don't even know half of the players. Like I don't pay attention to that at all. I just care about watching the games. And like what you were saying before with that one quarterback, I forget where you said that he's playing now.
John Mateer at Oklahoma.
Yeah, where he's a gunslinger. Like that's the other beauty of it. These quarterbacks are fearless and they're playing for their job, especially the transfer portal being the way that it is, or they're trying to make these highlight plays that potentially help them get an interview for the draft or for the combine. And so they're risking it all every single weekend, and it's absolutely amazing, especially towards the end of games too, because at the end of the day, like some of them are 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
So they're nervous wrecks at the end of a game playing in Death Valley or whatever. And so it's like amazing to watch all these crazy things happen. And we had a bunch of that last year with those top teams. So I'm very excited, if you can't tell.
I was watching film on Lenora Sellers. He's the quarterback for South Carolina. He's a pretty well thought of quarterback prospect. He's going into his second year as a starter. And I'm watching it. I'm like, this dude, man, like he does things that are frustrating, but you're also like, I can't believe he just did that. The end of the Missouri game last year, he was unconscious. There's things, and then you look it up and you're like, he was 19.
Crazy.
Like, dude,
and him wearing goggles makes it even funnier too, because all of a sudden you're like, you see him with the goggles running around. And you're like, is this a nerd just like balling on all of these like D1 SEC guys?
He doesn't so look like funny. He doesn't really look like, if you see his full body, he's a thick built dude.
Yeah, and him without the goggles, like he looks like a stud. Once he puts his headshot on, he looks like a nerd.
You see a headshot, so you're like, this kid just seems like a nice kid who, like, you know, maybe he's in the band. No.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Dude. And let me be clear about this, because I told this story on here before, but I just want to rehash really quickly. I actually had to return a kickoff in college as a offensive lineman, and I nearly crapped my pants. If I had to go into one of these SEC stadiums at 19 and try to win a football game, I don't know if I could control my heart rate. Like I don't know how they do it. They're just different. So like it and it'll be interesting to see. Some of these guys are new, and I hope everyone does well, because you want everyone to be competitive. But like, it's not an easy thing to do.
No. And I think you talked about it with, I forget what we were talking about. I think this was like 20 pods ago, which is crazy to say. But the adrenaline aspect going into some of these stadiums or going into some of these big games, some of these kids must get so riled up where then they're tired by the time kickoff happens. Like that's what I think of every time when they full sprint out, especially the Clemson guys trying to run down that hill.
Dude, that hill is insane. That's another.
I would fall on my face, and then by the time warm-ups are done, I'm exhausted, and they snap the first play, and I'm like, dude, I'm gassed. I got 4 more quarters of this.
Yeah.
Like, how do they do it?
I don't know if you've seen, I'm guessing you've seen it, the Clemson Hill, Matt, because of because the douchebags we were talking about were Clemson fans, right? Matt just said
they were not.
Let them know.
They were not.
They were Gamecock fans.
Oh, really? I thought you always had a Clemson axe to grind.
No, it's a Gamecock thing.
Oh.
It's my sister's ex-husband. Let's be honest.
Let's just be honest.
Just call it out.
Just douchebag.
Yeah.
So when Clemson comes out, Matt. When Clemson comes out, they run down. What were you going to say, Matt? What did you say, Ty?
I was just saying I'm betting against the Gamecocks all year.
Oh man, I love their head coach. I like that team now.
The coach is cool. I do like that guy.
Yeah. But when Clemson comes out, man, they run down essentially straight downhill.
I've seen it.
Yeah, okay, you have seen it. All right.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Who's listening that hasn't seen it? Like, this is insane. I'm telling you again, as if I was a kid coming out of high school and I had to go between 2 different schools that were like, if it was like Clemson to say another competitive program, we'll say Florida State at the time, right? When it was really good, or another like competitive to Clemson program, I'm passing on Clemson, dude. Like it was, I'm like, how are they not? I don't know. I still don't know how they haven't had someone just absolutely eat it.
Because it's not a straight down. It's like it's a wave. Like it's a wavy looking hill.
There's two,
where it's like
right?
straight out and then a dip and then you kind of try to jump over the dip on the way down the hill. And it's whatever the head coach's name. He's in his khakis.
Dabo, Sweeney.
Yeah, Dabo's like full sprinted down that hill and then sprints to the 50-yard line. Like that guy had to have been practicing constantly going down that hill. And I thought about it. I wonder if they practice.
I don't know if he does wear cleats, man. You know what? I want to know what his footwear is. That's a great question.
That's a great question.
He's not doing it in loafers, you know?
Or is there a turf shoe that he had? Dude, I'm telling you, it gives me anxiety watching it. And it's a great like tradition. But at the same time, it's like, dude, that's insane.
They're
so funny to watch run.
They're one of two Death Valleys, right? The other's at LSU.
And they're playing each other, and there's a little bit of a back and forth about the real Death Valley. I'm like, this is boring. Like I really don't care.
Like just normal Nike running shoes is what it looks like.
There it is. Yeah, he does
just normal Nikes. He's an athlete, man.
Is he wearing
Zubas?
Zubas?
A sneaky athlete.
Look at that. Look at that stride right there. All right, the light is right there, but a little stride.
Yeah, it is no joke. I will say this, like spinning forward a little bit to the college football selection, I really hope the committee does a better job. They've fixed the seeds. I think you guys know this. They fixed the seeding. So now like the Big 12 team that wins the conference isn't going to get a bye, or the Boise States of the world aren't going to get a bye, which they shouldn't. Unless Boise State ends up being a top 4 team, or Arizona State ends up being a top 4 team, like which they should be in consideration for that. But unless that happens, they're not getting buys. So that's good. That should set up for more competitive, more fun first rounds. I actually think it helps it long term, because I also think we've seen this before, Tyler. If you have a layoff in the beginning of the playoffs, if you have a bye in the playoffs, you're sometimes come out rusty and it can hurt you. So I think it would make it a more competitive overall playoff. And again, because of this volatility, I think you're going to see some. You might see some. This might be a more interesting playoff. There might be some guys who sneak in here. There might be some teams who are later on in this game, like board. Like Illinois got a good quarterback. Indiana's got a good transfer quarterback. Texas Tech just did out of all those guys. Is there a team that we're not talking about? Utah, I love because they could get in.
Utah Ute.
Yeah, well, if they could get in.
So
Auburn is a team that people are sleeping on. There's just these teams that it's. And they have the quarterback who played at Oklahoma last year. This is so confusing, this carousel. But now the Oklahoma quarterback who was there last year is now at Auburn. They got this offensive tackle who's sick. They have a bunch of wide receivers that are really good. Like there's some teams that we're not even looking at right now that could sneak into the playoffs and make some noise, man. Like they could make some noise, and I love that part of it too.
So there's 5 automatic bids, right? The champion of the Big Ten, the champion of the ACC, champion of the SEC. What's the fourth one?
Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12.
Okay, the Big 12, not the Pac-12, because I was like, the Pac-12 has two people
gone.
in it.
By the way, the Pac-12 was the last year the Pac-12 was in existence. Loaded. It was loaded, and they got rid of it. But anyways,
and I noticed that UConn is a independent with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think.
So is that because nobody?
Too.
No, I saw that UMass was part of something else. I'll see if I can find it.
Are they now?
Yeah, but is that just because nobody wanted UConn? Because they don't play good football?
Which is sad, because the first time that Randy Edsall was there, they were good, man. UConn was pumping out some pro players. Like, they were good.
They had a cornerback that played for the Colts that was really
Darius
good.
Butler, who's on the
Pat
McAfee show.
Dan O on there?
He's a Patriot. Yeah, Dan Orlovsky was there. They had some edge. They had some defensive guys. Kendall Reyes, who's in Wyndham now, who's up in our area.
Really?
Defensive end for the Chargers I'm pretty sure played at Connecticut. He was a dude, man. He was a good freaking football
Let's get him in the
player
Oklahoma drill.
UConn. Not with me, no.
Yeah.
Not even now. I mean, I think he's long retired. I think him and his wife do real estate now, and he might do some coaching. Not even now. Not even like sneaky now. I don't even care.
UMass is in the Mid-American.
10 years. They are now? Because
UMass is in the Mid-American.
They were independent last year.
There was also a rumor that they might have. Wow, I can't talk. They might not have a program soon. There's some rumors about that.
They've said that for decades, I feel like.
I really hate when that happens. I think it's good to have a football team, man.
Especially at
really
Zoomass. They would lose that.
The Zoomass people are pretty hippie.
That's
They're
true.
pretty hippie.
Zoomass
I don't
is
think
going
people realize that.
throughout the year. It's not for football games. That's
And
fair.
it's also, by the way, I didn't think it was that good of a school when I was in high school. UMass Amherst is a damn good school, man. It's
It
a
is.
pretty good school.
Yeah.
But they're in Western Mass. They're not. That's not a Boston school. That's
Not at all. Middle of nowhere.
That's out in Western Mass, and they have a good time. I really enjoyed visiting there. I had a great time. And there's some other Williams is in that area. I think there's some other high end schools that are right there. So yeah, I could see them getting rid of it if they did. Honestly, that would be sad. It would.
And
be
then
sad.
the fifth automatic seed is like a mishmash of like the Mid-American, the Sun Belt.
So let's get back into this. That's the non-power four. Okay, they call them I forget what they call them actually. There's the power four conferences, and then there's the one at-large bid basically. So the power four being, which by the way is a joke because the Big Ten and the SEC, we can debate back and forth. I'm an SEC guy. I think there's a strong argument to be made recently for the Big Ten, more than ever before. And
Yeah, buddy.
I'm hearing it. I'm listening. Don't get me wrong. I'm listening. Still an SEC guy, but those are the two. I mean, the ACC is good, but Florida State hasn't been what they were in years. Clemson's kind of coming back now. I mean, and then you're looking
Duke
at
is
other
legit.
teams.
Duke is going to win the ACC.
Miami hasn't been what it was years ago. Virginia Tech wasn't what it was years ago. Like the ACC is not nearly as good. It's still better than the Big 12, and then that's another step below, I think. Even though I like the Big 12 and it's competitive football, it's a really good football conference. It's clearly those two, the big dogs up top, and then I would put ACC a tier below, and then I would put Big 12 a tier below. So it's interesting that they always say these at-large bids. But this is what I was going to say to you, Tyler. So we're talking about putting together a dynasty league for NCAA. Is it 20? It's 25, right?
26.
26.
Why do they do that? Why do they do the year after?
Because it's going into the new year.
No, I don't care. NCAA 26. It's great. Excited to be playing it again. Excited the game's back. Can't wait for the basketball version, which is going to be what,
great.
2 years? 2 years now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
27, I think.
Can't wait for that. That's going to be fun. But to stay on topic, we're going to do a dynasty where we each have to pick one team, right?
Yeah, one team, and we're going to – reason why we're doing it now is so that this will be something that we kind of update over time on either every other pod or every pod where it's an update on where our team is at. If Matt stole a recruit from me, if Matt and I ended up being matched up, if Steve stole a recruit from – whatever it ends up being, this will just be a little segment that we have either at the end that's super quick that just updates everybody on how our dynasty league is going in NCAA 26.
So Tyler's
pick
been
who you're gonna play with.
Tyler's been a Marshall guy from the jump, okay? And this is what I was going to say to him. It seems easy. Like you seem like you might want to take the Marshall at large bid because it's not as competitive as the other conferences, right? But there's no wiggle room. Like if you pick Clemson, you can lose 2 games, get in the ACC championship, and you're still in the playoff. If you're in Marshall, you're not competing against what are they in the?
They're in the Mountain West.
Yeah, they're in the Mountain West, really.
No. They're in the Sun Belt. What am I saying? Yeah, they're in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they're not in the Mountain West. Yeah, they're in the Sun Belt, which has got some good teams in it, man. I mean, James Madison's in that league.
Yeah, I mean, Coastal Carolina's in that conference.
Yeah.
I mean, when they
South
they used to
Alabama's
be
a
good.
competitive team, getting better. Old Dominion every once in a while they'll sneak around. Georgia Southern's a good team. Like you're not only competing against them. Here's what can happen if you take Marshall. Okay, theoretically you could go 12-0, and then be ranked outside, and Boise State goes 12-0, and they take Boise State over you. Like you could win every game and not get into the playoff. Now I don't think that would really happen. You'd probably have to lose, but if you lost one, you are in real trouble, man.
No,
Like,
definitely.
you're in real trouble of not getting in there.
I use Duke sometimes, but I feel like that one's
I don't know
just
why you
sneaky.
like Duke so much. Is it because of Daniel Jones? Full circle, baby. Full circle.
Beauty. No, it's because
Daniel Jones is pride of Duke.
I like Duke basketball, so I have the mentality of like, all right, let's get Duke football on the same level as Duke basketball. And honestly, I said it before and you didn't catch me on it. Duke is going to win the ACC because they have a fantastic sophomore quarterback. But I use Marshall when I want a little bit of a challenge when playing Dynasty.
Clemson has got one of the best teams in the country. Like, if not,
I don't care.
I think
I don't care.
Clemson
Darian
in my mind
is the best sophomore quarterback in the country.
I'm okay. So he's better than.
I'm just trying to help you. I'm
would
just
you
trying
call
to help
Arch a sophomore or no?
No, he's junior.
Technically he's a redshirt sophomore, right?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Lenore Sellers, sophomore. DJ Legway in Florida, sophomore.
That's what I'm saying. Darian Mensah, best sophomore quarterback in the country.
I know you're trying to get me mad. If people are wondering, Tyler has control over the mute buttons. When we do remote, I can't. When we're in studio, I could mute him right now, but I can't.
That is
do
true.
it
You could.
So we're gonna have to come up with our teams. I'm not sure how interested they're gonna be in this, but I don't care because we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll see where it
Give
goes.
us 5 minutes.
I also don't. We have 4 minutes left, and I've specifically done this, and I like. Again, we're gonna end on a little bit of bummer because I think we're officially ready to have a funeral for my fantasy football career. I drafted so poorly the other night.
All right, I'm gonna pause you right there. I'm gonna pause you right there. So okay. This is Steve's mentality when he does the draft. He is trying to mess with me or trying to mess with Gary.
Okay.
And so it's about messing with people. And this is why he doesn't draft super well.
A little bit.
But also, he's an absolute roller coaster ride during the draft.
I took Drake May like the second round.
Where he's like, bang, that is one hell of a pick. Can't believe he fell to me, blah, 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 like getting all hyped up. And then next thing we know, he's like, can we restart? Can we just stop? Can we auto pick for the rest? And then towards the end, he'll get a sleeper and he's like, I'm back. I got this. But this is where he screwed himself. This is where he screwed himself. I'm sitting there and we're all on like a Google Meet and Steve goes, obviously I don't know exactly what you said, but you basically decided to mess with me and take Drake May in the 5th round because you knew that I was going to get him later. Dude, it was like the 5th or 6th round. Like I think you took him.
I think that's good
like
value.
Right after Patrick Mahomes.
Is that not good value?
No, not at all. And the other thing too is that ended up being your QB1. So then you were messing with me, and then next thing you know, you have Drake May's QB1, which you did make a good point after the draft, where you're like, Drake May literally like he controls your happiness throughout the fall now.
Yeah,
he is your QB1 in fantasy, and he's your QB1 on your favorite.
I also picked 9th this year, which this is a total cop out, but like terrible spot to be in. I mean, terrible spot to be in. I mean. I didn't know what I was doing.
It's a great number.
I got Genty and Jonathan Taylor with my top two picks, and I was happy with that. They're going to make me competitive. But then after that, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it is complete utter garbage excuse for it. But I really think it's over. I think I'm done. Like I'm going to compete. I'm going to go out there and go as hard as I can for the boys and try to make it competitive. But like I think it's time to, because here's the other thing. I'll say this, Matt. I usually Conor McGregor out of those drafts. I walk out of there with my arms swinging, my chest out. I've had the best draft ever. Yahoo emailed me about 10 minutes later and we're like, "C."
No, dude. I have your draft pulled up right now. So you went first round.
This is not what I
like
wanted.
you said.
We have 1 minute and 50 seconds. Go ahead, bro.
Like you said, Genty, JT, first 2 picks. Love them. Then you go AJ Brown, and then you go George Kittle, who legitimately has either made you
there.
He's great. No, Kittle's a great pick, but he has controlled your happiness for the last 5 years of fantasy football.
And I have a history of drafting players that get hurt, by the way.
Yes.
I got CMC last year. Yes. I just get guys that get hurt.
And then yes, 5th round, pick 57, you got Drake May. And then you went Jamison Williams, Ricky Pearsall, who I love this year. And then you go Jordan Addison, who's suspended for 4 games. Then you go Javonte Williams, who's your guy. And then you got Colson Loveland, great pick. Then you got Jordan Love, so that was also a good pick. So you actually didn't finish the draft bad. I think this is where you came around, where you were kind of like, all right, I'm back in this because you got Loveland and then you got Jordan Love.
Dude,
and then you got Garendo. Which one?
Javonte Williams might be the worst pick of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you got him in the 9th round, so I would agree on that. That was maybe a little bit early.
Yeah, that
But
son of a bitch Jeremy
Well,
took Josh Allen before I could get him. I wanted him at that pick.
I did too.
And
Steve, you forget that fantasy is fickle, and any given Sunday and Monday night, anything can happen, and your team is ripe to be the one that comes in and gets that garbage reception in OT to win the week. I think you're trying to reverse jinx your way into the playoffs.
Yeah, you're trying to be like Virgy.
I could. Maybe I'm trying to break free of the fantasy chains that have held my life captive for my entire adult life. So I don't. You're trying to tell me about how it's fickle. Like you guys know how I am every Saturday. I mean every Sunday. I am a different human being between 115 and 138 and 245. Like everyone knows it does fantasy that you don't really pay attention till the end of the games, the afternoon games and the late games. You know what I mean? The 1 o'clock game and the late game. You don't really pay attention. Like all fantasy happens at the end. You'll figure it out at the end. I'm watching every snap and being like, God damn it, Jordan Addison was going to have a 20-yard catch, but they called a false start on him, on the Vikings or whatever it is. You know what I mean? A legal motion. And I'd be like, God damn it.
Or I need Antonio Brown to get one catch. And, oh, wait, what is he doing in the end zone right now? Oh, he's leaving the game.
There are no words. That's not the worst. There are two.
There's some really bad ones.
There are two names I will never forget in my fantasy. One was on my team and one was on Matt's team. Matt's team was Deontay Johnson for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was, by the way, turned into an absolute train wreck. Just couldn't do it before it. And the other one is Dalvin Cook. The Dalvin Cook meltdown was so bad. If people remember this, it was the game they played where I think Cousins got COVID. It was
COVID year for sure, yeah.
But he didn't play, and Dalvin Cook had to get something like 12 yards for me and got nothing against Green Bay. And it was in the playoffs. It was for the championship. And Matt texted me the next day and said, I'll understand if you never want to play fantasy football again. You'd be wrong, but I'd understand it. And I was like, dude, this is bad. Like, I'm already in a bad place, and Matt's like trying to cheer me up, but Matt did the exact opposite. It was like, oh my God, Matt is actually like legit making this legitimate. Like, he's actually empowering me to feel this way with his comments here.
No, and I know that we're already over, but like I was sitting in that living room with you watching, like I was trying to hype you up for that game.
It was a Sunday night.
Dalvin Cook's got you. Dalvin Cook's got you. Don't worry, he's got you. Going into that game and just watching every single snap.
It was the middle of the third quarter. We're like, we still just need 10 yards and a catch.
Yeah,
dude. That's all we need.
Yeah.
And then they took him out. They took him out in the fourth quarter until I was like, good night. I'll see you later. How old were you? You were probably like.
I was 20. I was a junior in college.
In your defense, Steve, it wasn't worth a lot of money. It wasn't like this was, for pride. You lost several $100s.
Yeah. I was so happy at that dinner. I'll never forget that Sunday night dinner with my family. Looking around like, it was like, I felt like Clark Griswold when he was going to get the bonus for the pool. And then he didn't get the bonus for the pool. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to go over... you know what? I won't even say like the terrible things that the Griswolds did, but like that's where I was at mentally. Like I thought I was getting a bonus for a pool, and I got a gift certificate to Applebee's.
All right, who you picking for Dynasty? Clemson?
No. Who are you taking, Matt?
My one question is, does it matter if you pick like a blue blood school, like for recruiting and stuff, or can you pick anybody and you've got an equal chance of recruiting?
I would say no SEC, maybe no Big Ten, unless it's the small dogs. That's kind of my only rules for it. Like Clemson, I'm okay with. I think that is like the line of talent wise.
Dude, Clemson's good.
I know they're good, but like. So I guess Clemson's maybe a little bit above the line. I would maybe draw the line around like I can only think of ACC schools, but like the North Carolinas, the Dukes as being like the most talented.
So I can't take Notre Dame?
No, those are top dogs.
Who has the best stadium between Texas Tech, TCU, and Arizona State?
Meh.
That's a great question though. I like Marshall. I love their stadium. So and that's kind of why I always use them.
All right,
They have a little
we need to
waterfall.
think about this more. If those are now we have the when are we setting it up? Because it starts this weekend. Are we just doing it next weekend, or are we starting it now?
I can set it up tonight. I can set it up tonight and get us rolling, and then next week
All right,
we've got
I'll
this
come up
thing
with my
going.
team.
Cool.
Come up with my team. No Big Ten, no SEC, no Notre Dame.
I'll make a graphic of what our choices are, and I'll post that on Instagram for the fellas to see.
All right, that's good. All right.
Hell yeah.
It's a great segue,
All right, boys,
too.
good show.
Where can they find us, Tyler?
They can find us on Instagram at screenthescreener.pod. They can find us on Twitter at screen_screener. Find us on TikTok at screenthescreener.pod. And YouTube, searching up Screen the Screener.
Yeah, if you want all those hot takes on my fantasy team. If you're still here. All right, that's it, right? I mean, you're the one who ends it, Ty. You usually cut me off here.
Have one hell of a weekend. Enjoy football, and we'll see you guys.
Yeah, enjoy college football.
Hell yeah.